Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the January 21st, 2025 meeting of the Redevelopment Commission in Richmond, Indiana. Our first order of business is to call the roll.
Michael Bloom.
Here.
Jenny Lahman.
Here.
Kathy Lucid.
Here.
Gary Turner.
Here.
Allison Zeidel.
Here.
Nicole Stoltz.
Here.
All are present.
Great, we have a quorum. I would like to welcome the newest member that we have that's representing the Richmond school system, and that is Nicole Stoltz, and she is beginning the year with us. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you.
First order of business that we have at the beginning of every year is the election of officers. The first is the office of president. Do I hear a nomination?
I nominate Kathy Lucid.
I'll second that. I'll second. Well, I'll second.
We're festive.
A lot of people have that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of Kathy Lucid as president for this year, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. We now need to elect a vice president. Do I hear a nomination?
I nominate Gary Turner.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Nomination's been made and seconded for Gary Turner to be vice president. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Welcome, Gary, to your renewed
you.
position of vice president.
Familiar.
Can't imagine. And the next officer that we need to elect is secretary. Do I hear a nomination?
I nominate Allison Zeidel for the secretary position.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Nomination's been made and seconded for Allison Zeidel to be secretary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Allison, for serving as secretary.
Sure thing.
Next order of business that we have is to review the minutes from our meeting of December the 17th, 2024. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes, and are there any changes or additions?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Ooh, moving right along. We're into the financials. Beth, would you like to review the financials?
Absolutely. Thank you. So as you'll see with allocation area 1, to note, we did receive our final TIF allocation for this area. And as is noted, this did come in short of our projection this year, a little over $400,000. That can be due to non-payment of taxes. It can also be due to individuals appealing their tax rate as well. So all of that can balance out. If you'll recall, last year, we came in about $300,000 over our projections last year.
As a percentage, that's pretty significant, this 400,000 of,
Over the entire 3.2 million.
yeah, I mean, that's a big number. Is that an anomaly? You gave reasons, but gosh.
We came in over the year before because, and in previous years, because a lot of individuals were receiving additional loans and additional support through the COVID initiatives that were out there. So we had a lot of people that were delinquent, that were paying or paying ahead. And so now we are kind of back to a status quo. So Baker Tilly reevaluates this every year to determine, so they do look at those trends when they look to determine what our projected income will be.
So it's just not a simple math calculation. They go based on
Yes.
history.
They go based on history,
Actually
based
be
on,
closer to this.
yes.
Okay.
Beth, I have a question. I should probably know this, but if somebody then does settle up on their tax bill, does it get kicked back to us ever or never?
Yes, it gets
does.
kicked to us with the next distribution. We just get the 2 a year.
Okay.
That was a very good question. I was going to ask it.
I couldn't remember if I'd asked that
I
before or
couldn't
not.
remember whether or not we added it during at the month it's received, or
Yeah.
if we wait until the next allocation.
No, it would be the next allocation. So our next one will be June 30th. So as we look at what we have one item that we need to deobligate from the PLACE program, as that project at the Reedmore building has been completed, and this is remaining funding that was not used. So this $27,1242 is something that I am recommending that the board de-obligate. The other projects are continuing to move forward with the Mechanics Laundry Building. With the demolition, they are in the process of doing the hazardous materials pre-demo survey for that building, so that will be coming down. The firm that was selected for the Plaza project, the area under the bridge, they are in the process of preparing a timeline for the community meetings for the input for that. So those will be coming to us shortly so that we can get those out to the public. There will be some meetings that will be specifically just for Depot District businesses and the Depot District Association, and then from the larger area downtown, and then the community at large as well. So there will be both in-person and online survey options for individuals to participate in the design of the plaza that is there underneath the Renew Richmond project, the new US 27 bridge. The bond payments, we have there what is remaining. With the Midwest Industrial Park, you'll note when we look at the Midwest Industrial Park, those numbers will match one another because that is funding that will be transferred by the Finance Department from the allocation area 1 to cover that payment. That was for our purchase of additional ground in the Midwest Industrial Park.
This was the one that we expected at the end of the year,
Correct.
but it just hasn't occurred yet.
Correct.
We should see it on next month's financials.
Yes. So with that, when we look at our earmarked projects that we have the funding that we have set aside for Richmond Community Schools projects, as well as the funding we have set aside for the 6th and Main project. That project is currently, the documents for that bond issuance and that transaction are being drafted currently by Ice Miller. And we should have those from bond counsel so that that will come before the commission at our February meeting.
Good, because I think we'd like a review of how the $3.3 million was determined and how that's going to be paid, and as well as the non-forgivable loan through the Wayne County Foundation. So if we can get a review of that at the next meeting, that would be very helpful.
And both Lisa Lee and Jason Semler will both be here at the next meeting
Very good.
as we move through that process. It will be very similar to what we've done with bonds in the past, but with the additional contributions that are coming in and the additional loan from the foundation to complete the entire incentive package for that project, that will all be in one document. So they will be here and walk us through that document and all of those pieces.
I think the question on the table is whether or not that $1 million loan needs to be earmarked here as we move forward.
Yeah, and I think I was not here when they did that, but I believe that it was not earmarked because it was not determined at that point in time how that gap would be filled.
Okay. So good discussion for next month. Before we move on, we do have a de-obligation that Beth has recommended for $27,012.42 for the Place project.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to deallocate $27,012.42. Beth, would you please call for the vote?
Mike Bloom,
Aye.
Jenny Lahman,
Aye.
Kathy Lucid,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Allison Zeidel.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Excellent, thank you.
As we move on, the next sheet that you have is for the Certified Technology Park. As you'll see at our last meeting, we had the influx of cash from the sale of the building. We do have some remaining obligations there. This fund is one that we will not see any additional revenue coming into this fund. So we are having conversations with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation about whether or not this continues to be a standalone fund until all funds are exhausted, or whether or not we have the ability to fold this into our allocation area 1, which is our first financial.
Yeah. Could answer our million-dollar question here.
It's getting a little thin, isn't it?
So we will have that. With the Johns Manville Fund, as you'll see, we have a significant balance available there. We have a couple of projects that are still finalizing, and we have an available balance of $1,891,547.67 available for new projects from the Johns Manville Fund. The Heartland Allocation Fund, this is the fund set up to make the bond payments that were the incentive for General Mills Blue Buffalo. As a reminder, we simply pay the amount that the company pays so that they can pay those bonds down. This year, they did only make one payment, so therefore that's why you see a remaining obligation for that. This will all be refinanced through the bond closure for what we've been referring to as Project Alma. That closing is this Thursday, so we will be seeing new documentation, and this will look new as that moves forward. They will have the reissued fund as well as the new bonds that are being issued. So the finance department will be creating a new sheet. I have not had a conversation with them to know whether or not they'll be combining those into one or whether they'll keep them separate. So we will find out in February.
Beth, I have a question about Johns Manville.
Sure.
And I know I've asked this one before, but I still don't remember what we had said. When we earmark the funds, or when the funds are earmarked for RCS, for the Johns Manville Fund or others that aren't our main, our number one TIF, are we only able to spend that on schools that are within that area, or can we spend it on anything at RCS that they bring to us?
Anything that RCS brings.
Okay, so it's not limited to that TIF area, okay.
No, and I was going to ask, when you were finished, Beth, just for Nicole's sake, since she's new to us, to go over the complete total of funds that we have available for RCS.
Sure. So I think the last document that you have is the Midwest Industrial Park, and again, that is the one that Kathy referenced earlier, that the transfer will occur, that will clear that from the negative since that bond payment has been made, but the transfer from the allocation area that's paying that has not been made yet. So while it has been paid and we're only in the negative on paper. So as Kathy alluded to, we do set aside, as a commission, the commission has determined that they would set aside $250,000 per year from allocation area 1 for Richmond Community Schools to use for projects. And so at this time, at the end of 2024, we had $553,000 that was remaining. So in January, we will add another $250,000 to that number that will be available for Richmond Community Schools to use for their projects. And in the Johns Manville Fund, we have also set aside $50,000 a year for use by the school. And they currently have $100,000, so we will increase that to $150,000 in 2025.
And as we said, there's really no restrictions on those funds. It's at the discretion of RCS to bring forth projects to us.
So on the 12/31 financials, the earmark for the school is 553.
Yes.
And you're saying this, in '25, there's going to be additional 200,000 added to that?
250.
Or 250,000?
Yes.
So there'll be 700,000.
Yes.
And I can't remember, that was going up in that increment every year? Is that?
Yes,
is that how-
every year, yes. They're able to utilize it each year or to let it accumulate until it reaches a point where it will be sufficient for the project that they're looking at completing.
And is the Manville, that's a static number, that's not going up every year?
That is also going up $50,000 every year.
Oh, it is? Okay.
We have some money for you, Nicole.
Yeah,
No,
indeed.
it's good to show up to a meeting and have money. So, thank you.
And I recall the last project that that money was used for was the McGuire Hall renovation.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there was a
Yeah.
nice presentation from Sean and Karen.
Yes.
And that has been very well utilized, not just by RCS, but by the community at large. And it's just been fun to see that area kind of, fresh life was breathed into it in the form of air conditioning.
Yes, indeed.
And it's beautiful too, if you haven't been able to.
It's lovely.
I'm guessing most of you have been in there at this point, but yes, definitely.
Are there any other questions about the financials?
I move for the approval of the financials as presented.
I'll second that.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the financials. Would you please call the vote?
Mike Bloom.
Aye.
Jenny Lauman.
Aye.
Kathy Lucid.
Aye.
Gary Turner.
Aye.
Allison Zeidel.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Excellent. We do not have any old business, so we will move into new business. And we have two resolutions to address today. And the first resolution is Resolution Number 1, 2025, a resolution authorizing the appropriation and expenditure of funds, improvement to roadways and infrastructure within the redevelopment area from allocation number 1. And I believe the amount for that is $194,949. Can you
Yes.
speak to that, Beth, please?
Yes, thank you. The state of Indiana makes funds available through their Community Crossings Matching Grant each year to communities. In the past, that amount has been a maximum of $1 million. It's a one-to-one match. That has now been increased to $1.5 million. So if communities are able to find that one-to-one match, then they are able to apply for improvements to qualifying roads within the community. The Street Department, through their Commissioner T.L. Bozell, has determined that they have a list of 13 road segments that they are interested in submitting for the first round of community crossings. They have 2 rounds each year. The first round opens the second week of January, and the applications are due January 31st. The second round opens in July, with those applications being due the first part of, or the end of July. So for this first application, there are 3 road segments that would qualify for funding from allocation area 1. And you will see those listed on attachment 1 in your resolution 1. It's South A Street from South 18th to South 23rd, Gar Jackson Road from Salisbury to Round Barn Road, and then North 15th Street from East Main to North E Street. So those would total, 50% of those would total the $194,949 that is requested in resolution number 1.
Beth, why don't the numbers on the attachments match up with the numbers on the project estimates?
Because they are 50% with a contingency amount. So
Oh, with a contingency amount in there, okay.
I think you're looking at something from council's packet.
Am I?
I was going to say, I
It
don't.
was here on the
Yeah,
table.
have that.
Those are part
I was like, that's not 50%.
Those are-
The numbers don't add up.
no, those
Okay, got
are
it.
those are council.
And this is intriguing too. This must be council.
That's for the raise grant. Yes, that is not part
We
of.
need to take this and just set it aside.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
It
I've
was-
got
it
notes
was
all
here-
over it.
It was here before we started.
Yes, we figured it was just part of this meeting.
Down open
Not
this and found out it's Ann Taylor's W-2 form.
Oh,
I've got to get a new envelope for her.
Yeah, yes, we will do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so there were 13, road segments, and those were, as we allocated them. This resolution 1 is for those within allocation area 1, and then resolution 2 is those that are eligible for Johns Manville funding.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, glad we got that clarified. It was
Yeah,
not
I
matching.
Yes.
Okay, so
there-
it's 50% plus contingency, is that what you said?
Correct.
Getting back, my head getting back into it, okay.
Yes, because we just have the project estimates based on the road segment, and then when we actually go to bid these out later, historically, they've always come in over the estimated amount. So this way, we're not coming back to the commission.
Is that a 10% contingency? What is the standard?
Yes, 10%.
10%. Okay.
So the price that we have here, the 195, is actually half of what,
Correct. That is actually 50% of the total project.
Any further questions on this resolution? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'm sorry, I have one more question, I'm sorry,
Sure.
Kathy. So you said earlier that that list of 13, which is not our list, but the list of 13 that you mentioned is for the entire year of what they expect that needs to be done this year. That would be the top priority list?
This is just the top priority list for this first application
For the
period
first
in
round.
January. Yes,
Okay.
for the first round. There will be another list that will be produced for the second application in July.
Okay. Because I'm just thinking if we're putting, you know, our money's getting low real quick now because
is.
of the.
Oh, yeah.
Too. So I just wanted to be planning in my head. Okay. I'm okay. I feel okay now.
Good. Way to keep the accounting
Right,
straight.
just making sure. And the second one you said is in June? Is that what you said?
July.
July, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve Resolution Number 1, 2025, for $194,949. Would you call the vote, please?
Mike Bloom,
Aye.
Jenny Lauman,
Aye.
Kathy Lucid,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Allison Zeidel.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Motion passes.
Yes, I should actually get my mic in front of me.
Next item of business that we have is Resolution Number 2, 2025, a resolution authorizing the appropriation and expenditure of funds, improvements to roadways and infrastructure within the redevelopment area coming from the Johns Manville area. And that is for $522,017.
Yes. This is in Attachment A. You will see the road segments that are part of this project. It is Northwest I Street from Northwest 5th to Salisbury, Northwest 5th Street from West Main to Progress Drive, and Sheridan Street from Richmond Avenue to Bridge Avenue.
And these are, well, at least one of them's part of the, well, more than one's really part of that corridor of Northwest 5th
Yes.
from 70.
Yes. And in the industrial park,
Sheridan is in the district, apparently.
in the Johns Manville.
Yeah, interesting.
It serves and benefits that TIF. Yes.
So that expenditure would come out of the Manville
Yes.
total that has 1.8 million, 1.891 million in it
Correct.
available? Okay.
Would any others come out of Johns Manville?
No, just these three.
Just those three. Okay.
And again, this is part of the match for the state.
Oh, it says it right.
Correct.
State fund.
Correct. The community provides, for a community of our size, we provide 50% and the matching grant provides 50%. Communities smaller than ours, the grant provides 75% and the community provides 25%.
And the reason they're doing this in two different requests is because this amount is coming out of the Johns Manville area.
Two different
Correct.
resolutions.
Yes.
That's why
That's
it's
why we have two different resolutions. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't say that correctly.
No, you are absolutely correct. Yes. That way we have one resolution for each fund. There is a different line item that each of those will be paid from each fund.
Understood.
Are there any other questions regarding Resolution Number 2, 2025?
I move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve Resolution Number 2, 2025, for $522,017. Would you call the vote, please?
Mike Bloom,
Aye.
Jenny Lauman,
Aye.
Kathy Lucid,
Aye.
Gary Turner,
Aye.
Allison Zeidel.
Aye.
All are in favor.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Do you have any additional business to bring before the commission?
No, not at this time, other than just a reminder that we will start the bond issuance process for the Flaherty and Collins market rate apartments at the February meeting.
I had one question, going back through my files. Our handbook for Indiana Redevelopment Commission members, mine's dated 2019. Has there been an update to that? I think they only issue the book when there's been a significant change in the statutes.
There is a
correct?
23 that I can send you a PDF for. It did not have many changes, but there was one issued in 23. There was not one issued in 24.
Okay, I could not find that in my files, so if you could send that to all of us, please, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Very good. Any other business to come before the commission today?
Nope.
Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are watching Whitewater Government Television, WGTV, Channel 11, part of the Whitewater Community Television family of